Welcome back to episode 37 of the Poker Vlog. It is such an honor and pleasure to bring you guys some new content. And man, do I have some of the most incredible poker sessions you guys have ever seen in your lives. Some of the biggest stakes I think I've ever played, and definitely some of the bigger stakes that anybody's been vlogging. Anyways, in today's episode, I get involved in the largest pot of my entire life. I buy in for $10,000 into a cash game at the ARIA. After busting out of the Millionaire Maker.
Day 1A, had a ton of chips, but not enough content to make a vlog. So we're currently at the ARIA. Put our name on the 5-10 list. Hopefully we can do some good stuff. And if not, then you're gonna see it anyways, because we post every vlog. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you again. Even as I edit this video, I sit here talking over all this. There's a couple of things that I want to mention. I'm playing 10-20-40. I just bought in for $10,000. It's an unbelievable feeling looking down at pocket queens on the very first hand of some of the biggest stakes I've ever played in my life. These are moments that you can only really dream of. The cutoff opened at $90. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up here. $360 to go is my 3-bet. I go a little bit larger considering I'm out of position. He thinks about it for a little bit and decides to make the call. The flop comes 10-9-4 with 2 diamonds. I don't hold a diamond in my hand, so I'm going to be expecting my opponent to have some flush draws, a lot of straight draws, some pairs. There's a lot that goes on into a board texture this wet. So when I go ahead and c-bet here, this is where I think I go a little bit wrong. I decide to bet for a pretty small sizing. I down bet here. It's by this point in the hand that I think I totally lose myself, and I don't know if it was just the stakes or just, to be quite honest, busting out of a tournament that you just played 8 hours, 9 hours in, it's kind of not the best time to come play some of the largest stakes you've ever played in your life. And without making any excuses, if I'm on the felt, I expect the best version of me to be playing. As you folks can see, down betting on a board texture this wet, this dynamic is just absolutely preposterous. There's no reason that this should ever happen. And almost painfully, my opponent decides to raise me here. When he raises me, I almost am okay with it. I believe that he'd be raising me with a bunch of random hands, especially considering how small my sizing was. After a little bit of thinking, I decide to make the call. The turn is a very, very interesting card, and another dynamic card at that. The Queen of Diamond peels off here. What do I even do here? We now have top set, but King Jack makes a straight and any flush beats us. I go ahead and check it to the aggressor, and he decides to bet once again $2,000. Again, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. This is damning near a pot-sized bet by this point, but again, I just think my hand is just far too strong to make the fold, so I make the call. The river is an inconsequential 5 of spades. I go ahead and check to him once again, and he decides to make the jam. By this point of the hand, more so than anything is frustration and curiosity, 2 very dangerous things in the game of poker, again, especially playing in stakes this high. I just don't know what he can have considering he raised the flop. And my question is, what hands of value does he go 3 barrels with that I can still beat? I think pocket 10s, pocket 9s are very credible. I think I'd definitely be going that aggressive with the flop set, but I don't know if there's anything weaker than that that I could possibly consider going for value with. Even then, pocket 10s or pocket 9s are probably a check back on this river, and considering he went all in, this is kind of a tricky situation. After a bit of tanking, I decide against my better judgment and make the call. Of course, we were wrong here when he shows us the ace-8 of diamonds, played his flush draw very aggressive in position, and props to him. You caught me on my Z game, the absolute worst version of me, and I'm feeling really stupid here. I don't even know, like, I can't even be upset. I'm just disappointed in the lack of good poker. It's almost like I deserved it. At this point, we are still licking our wounds from the last hand, trying to get ourselves to bounce back. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of great things to describe. Even when we're making hands, big hands, I don't feel like my A game is there. It folds over to the button, who decides to make it $100. And we look down at King Queen offsuit, and we just make the call. I mean, this is just a horrible, horrible play. Anytime it folds, we're playing 6-handed, folds to the button. This is just clearly a 3-bet here, in my opinion. We should be playing a little more on the aggressive side, and in this case, we're not doing so. I just make the call, and the flop comes king 7. We flop a huge hand. She decides to c-bet for $80, and we make the call. The turn is a jack. I check. She pretty quickly decides to check back, and the river is a queen. And on this river, I don't know what to do, so I'm thinking, okay, let me bet the size of the pot, or at least somewhere in the realm. I bet $300, and she instantly folds. Again, not playing my A game, not getting the full value I should be getting. I just can't attribute that to anything more than just really severe fatigue and a very poor emotional place that I'm currently at in this session. Well, if it wasn't compiling enough, we've got even more poorly played hands. When late position decides to raise to $120, we look down at pocket jacks, and we 3-bet to a enormous sizing of $460. Again, if it's not bad enough that we're playing bad, we're just not even choosing simple things like proper sizing. We go massive here, we're never going to get any type of value, and unfortunately that is what happens here, and our opponent decides to fold. Looking to finally bounce back here, when we look down at ace-10 of diamonds in early position, I go ahead and make it $120 to go. Late position makes a call, and so does the straddle. The flop comes jack 10-4 with 2 clubs. The action checks to me. I'm going to go ahead and check this, and the late position player decides to check it back. The turn comes another brick. The straddle decides to lead out here for $280, and when it gets to me, again, I don't think I can ever fold here. We're definitely underrepresented here, so I'm going to make the call. Late position folds. The river is a very interesting card. It's an ace, so we improve to 2 pair. When our opponent leads out for $480, we're kind of sick. I don't know if there's a great deal of hands that he's going to be betting this river with that are a complete airball. And that does bring in a straight draw that was there on the flop. After a little bit of thinking, I go ahead and make the call, $480, and our opponent shows king queen. Unfortunate there that the flush draw breaks out there. I think if the river came in ace of clubs, I would have found a hero fold. Considering I haven't been playing well, to be honest, maybe I wouldn't have, but unfortunate situation there. Even the cards and the runouts aren't helping us. They're not in our favor, so we're on to the next hand. So I do realize that this session is going unbelievably poorly, but you guys don't have to make it worse. Simply by liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video, it would go more than you guys can ever realize it, and it will continue to help our community grow. If you guys like this content, if you guys like the high stakes stuff, make sure to let me know in the comment section. And if you guys haven't followed any of our social media platforms, it's actually the best way to keep in contact with myself or BJ. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at close to broke, or you guys can follow us on Twitter at Kieran V Reina. Thank you guys again, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. See if we can't get ourselves a little bit of a comeback here. Well, if the situation wasn't dire enough, by this point, I'm looking to reload, and I quickly realized that I have forgotten my wallet. So if it wasn't already frustrating enough that the night isn't going perfect, unfortunately, we have stumbled across another bad situation. Anyways, by this point in the session, we're sitting on around an $1,800 stack. And again, we're playing a 40 big blind game, which is kind of massive. Anyways, my pride is definitely too strong here to leave from the table. So I open $120 with ace jack here. Middle position makes the call, and the button, which is a human calculator, GTO Superstar, makes it $500 to go. It folds back to me in position, and I go ahead and make the jam here. But I definitely am trying to use what's left of my fold equity here. I think if I can get $500 pre-flop, I mean, how can you dislike that, right? And I definitely believe that the human calculator will definitely be pre-betting with the proper frequencies of bluffs and value hands for this to be profitable. The middle position player gets out of the way, and the human calculator is on the button, goes deep within the tank. It feels like an eternity passing by. 2 minutes go by before he finally decides to make the fold. Luckily for us, we pick up $650 pre-flop without showdown for absolutely free. Hard to say that's a bad situation. I'm really happy that we were able to bring that one down, and let's see if we can finally start heading in the right direction. Let's go! As our session is finally winding down, we're in early position. It folds to us, and we look down at ace queen offsuit. I'm going to go ahead and raise here to $120. We have 3 callers before it gets over to the straddle, who decides to raise here. $840 to go. When it folds back over to me, I'm sitting on around $1,800, $2,000. I'm going to go ahead and be playing for stacks here. Going to be looking to get it all in against his entire squeezing straddle range. I make the jam. The middle players get out of the way, and the straddle pretty quickly decides to make the call. He decides to run it one time. The flop comes queen high, brick, brick, brick. We show our ace queen very proudly, and he pretty quickly decides to show us pocket king. So, like I said, just happened to be running into it all night. I definitely won't allow any of this I ran bad nonsense to occur when I feel like I just played significantly worse than me running bad. Turning top set in a 3-bet pot, it's inevitable to get the money in the middle, but the lack of clarity and understanding of the situation was really apparent throughout my entire session. And it just sucks when all that happens. It culminates on the biggest session that I've played to date in the biggest stakes. So it is what it is. I'm happy. I don't want to say that I'm happy that it happened, but I'm happy that I'm here to prove to you guys that I'm going to post every vlog, whether it's great or bad. My goal is not to flaunt that I'm this super great poker player. It's more to educate, to entertain more than anything, and build a really strong community. So I appreciate you guys coming down and stopping by as always and supporting the vlog in more ways than I can ever imagine. If you guys are new to the channel, like I said, make sure to subscribe. We're about to hit 10K. And if you guys want to see more content, man, oh man, do we have some. If you guys thought these stakes were crazy, the next video is going to blow your mind. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. And more than anything, stay happy, stay healthy, and run good. I'll see you guys in the next episode of C2B. Love you guys all dearly. Deuces!